It's 2021, and welcome to the new 21 Report. I'm here with the amazing Jesse Lee Peterson. Jesse, how you doing?
All is well. Thanks
Good.
for having me.
Oh, glad you're here.
Yeah.
Couple things. How are you enjoying the convention so far?
It's amazing. I was here at the 21 Summit last year, and it was really, really good. It's even better this year. And I noticed that the people are more ready for it, they're more energetic, they participated, so it's really, really going amazingly. Glad to be here.
Okay.
Yeah.
You spoke at the Patriarch.
I did. The
Okay.
Patriarch, and then at the Slepmaker, right?
Yeah. Let's talk about the Patriarch. Let's talk about the Patriarch first. What did you talk to men about?
Really about how to become real men, to overcome the fear, the doubt, anxiety, and worry, because it's not natural for a man to worry or have anxiety or overreact, to be emotional. Men are logical. They're not emotional. So we talked about how to overcome that fallen state and come back to be men again.
Okay.
So it was very interesting.
You talk a lot about anger.
Yeah. That, what I say is that any man that has anger is a woman. Do you have anger?
No.
Oh, good.
None at all.
I was about
Absolutely
to say,
not.
I was about to say, hello, girl. No, but any man that has anger because he has the nature of his mother. That's why God said we must be born again. You're born of the woman, and anyone all who are born of the woman are dying, but you must be born a second time, which is of the Father. And those who are born of the Father are living. And when you're born of your Father by returning to Him, then you start to overcome that theological mindset, and you get away from all the emotions, and you're guided by common sense. You're guided by what is right. You're guided by the light of God within you. And that's what is missing in our country today. And as a result of that, I lose my voice, but as a result of that, the world is going to hell in a handbasket because women are not created to lead. They cannot lead. They're only created to follow, and men are supposed to guide them. So now that the men are weak, most men are weak and beta, they are now, the women are taking over, and things are getting worse as opposed to getting better.
Now, the word patriarch, that's a triggering word. Why is it triggering to people?
Because it's a masculine word. And what's happening is men came from God, and the man's God is God from above, and the woman's God is Satan from below, right? And so that spirit of the woman, which is the nature of Satan, is jealous of the spirit of the man, which is the nature of God. And so you have this battle going on between men and women, and most people don't understand it because it's not them, but it's the spirit that made a home in them, and it causes them to hate man. And men who are born of the woman, they hate women because they hate their mothers. But when they forgive their mothers, then the order will come back together of God and Christ. Christ and man, man over woman, and woman over children. And you would start to see that this country would come back together in the way it was before men were made to be weak.
Now, how does that, when you talk about that, how does that reflect in your own life and growing up?
My mother resented my father too. They were dating, he got her pregnant, and when she told him about it, because they were standing up having sex, he didn't think you could make a baby standing. Did you know in the good old days, that was the thing? No one thought you could make a baby standing up.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. I used to think that too when I was growing up, that you could not make a baby when you're standing. Because just think about it. When you're standing, you're having sex, everything will automatically go right down and fall out. But when you're laying down having sex, then the woman thing will be all fertilized and But in Alabama at the time, we thought you couldn't make babies standing. And so when my mother told him, he was like, no, that's not my baby, we were standing.
Well, that's some information that we just got.
And then she got mad and didn't want anything to do with him. But the problem was he didn't want me to have anything to do with him either. I had a yearning for my father. All people yearn to Father. That emptiness that you feel, that void, is not for more money. It's not for a family. It's not for a job. It's a return for the father. You're yearning for the father. And so my mother, she got married before I was born because it was embarrassing for women to get pregnant out of wedlock and not be married. So she married my stepfather, so I wouldn't be born out of wedlock. But she didn't want anything to do with him. I had a yearning for my father. When I got older, I got to know him. And then when I got older, I went and forgave my mother for trying to turn me away from my father. Because when you resent your mother, and all people do, you become like her. You become angry and emotional, illogical, and things like that. But when I forgave her, God forgave me. And he took away the mother spirit and replaced it with the father spirit. And my life has been amazing ever since. And that's the problem with all men, is that unless they return to the father, they will always be subject to the woman. The woman will be their God. And that's not the order of God. We have to come back to have a natural state.
Now explain just a little more in depth, return to your father, when you say that.
Because women hate men, they hate their fathers. When they're growing up, their mothers turn them away from their fathers. And so when they do get involved with a man that's dating or whatever, they hate that man as well. And when they have children by him, they turn the children away from the father. And they make the kids identify with them. And once you identify with your mother, you become like her. So if she's mad at the father and blaming the father for the way she feels, you think the mother is right, that she's a victim, right? And because you identify with her, you get mad at the father too. And if no one ever tell you, you grow up thinking your father was no good, and you ask, well, why do you resent your father? And they say, well, because he was mean to my mother, or he cheated on my mother. But you say, well, what did he do to you? You ask, what did he do to you that made you angry? And they can't think of a thing that their father did to them. They miss the father, they want the father, but the father never did anything. And they don't realize that they're resenting the father with the mother's resentment, not their own. And so when they realize that, they forgive the mother and forgive the father for not protecting them from the mother. That's when you return back to the father by forgiving him for not protecting you from your mother. But the fathers can't help it because they didn't overcome their mothers. And every woman they get involved with is their mother. So they become the boys and the woman become the mother. And the cycle just repeats itself. So when you forgive your father for not protecting you from the mother, and the mother for recreating you by imposing her will, that's what it means to return to the father.
Okay, fantastic.
Simply by forgiving him.
Okay, good. Now we're going to switch gears. The 21 convention, the main event. What did you talk about there?
About how to return to the father.
Okay.
And that women need fathers to, women need men to guide them out of the hell that they're in. They're looking for a father's love, but they end up getting screwed because if the man has not overcome his mother, he's trying to get love from the woman. And the woman does not have love. Women don't have love, they only have hate. But they're trying to, because they resent their mother, sex feels like love, right? And so they try to get something from the woman that she doesn't have. And so we talked about how men gotta, instead of screwing the woman all the time, but show her how to overcome that, because that's what they're looking for. They're looking for a father's love. And a lot of men just have not realized that, how to do that.
Okay. I want to ask you, this is your second year at the 21 Summit, 21 Convention.
Yeah.
How do men benefit from the 21 Convention?
By getting to know about the man and woman relationships, by getting to know themselves. A lot of men don't know how to deal with women because they never dealt with the mothers properly, so they're afraid of women. And what they learn here is how to get past that fear of a woman, because women want men to be brave. Now, women have an ego, so they want to control you, but they'll prefer not to control you. But they want to control you, but they prefer not to. And so it's better when the man is not controlled by the woman, because you bring her out of her hell. And these guys, several of them have children already. Their children have been taken away from them by the mother. because women are evil, and it's not them, but it's Satan's nature in them, right? I think men, but men don't understand how wicked and evil the woman is. She has no love. Satan is her daddy, so everything about her is cunning, is evil, is manipulative, is trying to control you, right? And men don't understand that, but when they overcome that, they can see they'll see what the woman is doing and how not only to overcome her, but to help her overcome that fallen state.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, how did the men at the 21 Summit receive your message?
From what I could tell, they seemed to love it.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them, they had heard me on my radio show,
Mm-hmm.
or they saw me speak here last year. And so they pretty much understood it. But the ones had not, the new ones, they were like, the feedback I got, they were like, it really awakened them on the inside. They knew something was wrong, but they didn't know quite how to overcome it.
Mm-hmm.
And the best kept secret on this side of heaven is the wickedness of the woman. Because she cries, she plays victim. And they have always pointed toward the man as being the bad guy. Mm-hmm. The misogynist, the rapist, the sex abuser and violent. They have cleverly presented men in that way when it's really the woman that's doing all that. And so some of the guys, they realize that today for the first time.
Okay. What did you learn from the 21 convention? Is there anything that you picked up maybe from last year, compared to now?
I got the impression that men are tired of suffering. Mm-hmm. The laws are against them. Their children are being taken away. Their bank account being robbed by the woman. I think they seem to be more anxious or hungry to want to understand, how do you get past this? How do you overcome this? How do you be a real man? How do you be a husband and a father? Because a lot of them are hurting from losing their children, and fathers love their children. And when they leave home, they don't leave their children, they leave the woman. Mm-hmm. And they suffer from not having their children. So I think they're really, really, really ready to start overcoming this mess. Okay. Yeah.
I'd like you to take a minute and say something to the men that are watching right now. Give them a message from Jesse Lee.
What I really, really recommend, guys, is that you get to know yourself. There's a battle going on within you. It is in the soul of the belly where the real you dwell, and in the illusion of the imagination. So you got to overcome the anger. Once you see that you have this anger going on, go and forgive your mothers. If they cry, fine. If they admit it, fine. If they don't, fine. You forgive them and God will forgive you. And He'll take away their mother's spirit and return to your earthly father by forgiving him, because he couldn't help it. He loved you. He just didn't know how to deal with your mother. So forgive so that you can finally become men again. And that way you will love God with all your heart, all your soul, all your might, along with nothing else. And you will love your neighbor as yourself. And then God will add everything unto you. Don't worry about what you're going to eat, what you're going to wear, where you're going to live. If you're ever going to get married, God will add the right woman unto you, and you will have a marriage that will last until death do you part. Your ways of taking care of yourself will be made clear, and you will be able to deal with women in the right way, in a perfect way, because you will overcome them, and they will no longer be your God. Then you can help them overcome the hell that's in them. But you got to forgive your mothers first, if possible, and your father, and you'll be fine. You just have to overcome the fallen state, turn back to the Father, and all will be well. Women need men. The world needs men. The world is going to hell because the women are in the forefront of it, rather than the men in the forefront leading the way. So we have a spiritual war going on, and that war between good and evil, right versus wrong. Evil works through the woman, and good works through the man. And that's what the battle is all about. It's not physical, it's spiritual.
Amazing.
Amazing.
Now I'd like to give you a chance to talk to the women, a message for them.
Well, the same thing for the woman. The woman, you have to go forgive your mother too, because you become like your mother. And your mother has imposed her will on you. And that's why she dictates who you date, where you live, how you think. She never makes you feel that you're good enough. because she want to always have control of you. And so in order for you to start a new generation, you must forgive your mother and return to your father. Fathers love their daughters as well. And that way you will overcome being your mother and become yourself again. And you won't pass that spirit down to your children. You won't do what your mother did to you, her mother did to her, and so on and so on. You will start a new generation when you forgive your mother. So you can finally be yourself again. Be of love and not of hate. So you got to do the same thing the men did or need to do so that you can be free. It's a spiritual battle. And mothers set their children up to fail. They can't help it. If they could do differently, they would. If they had love, they would give it, but they don't. So in order to start a new generation, you have to forgive your mother. Amazing.
Amazing is right.
Yeah.
And let me have a final explanation and a description of your total experience here at 21.
It's been amazing, really. Amazing is everything. It's exciting. Meet a lot of new people, men and women, because they have the women here as well. The talks have been well. I've sat in on the other talks and they've been amazing. So I would highly recommend that you save your pennies starting now, because he's going to do it again next year and the next year and the next year. So get ready for it and tell everybody and their mama about it. You don't want to miss it. So get ready for next year. It's really a weekend, almost like a vacation, because it's fun, it's serious, nice weather, you don't have to wear a mask. It's like going to Disneyland, but learning something from it too. All right? So get ready. It's a total experience. It's everything you're looking for.
Excellent. You know we appreciate you here coming, and we look forward to next year also.
Absolutely.
So how can everybody find Jesse Lee Peterson?
You can go to rebuildingtheman.com, rebuildingtheman.com, or jesseleepeterson.com, jesseleepeterson.com. We have been rebuilding the family by rebuilding the man for 31 years now. We tutor, we counsel, we have an entrepreneur program, a credit union where we loan the guys money to do their business with, the Fallen State TV, and a daily radio network. We are building a 24-hour conservative talk network with millennial men who overcome the Fallen State. And I want to have a talk network that we're 24-hour different talk show hosts. So we're working on that as well. Okay. So rebuildingtheman.com or call or jesseleepeterson.com, all right? You can't miss us. And I appreciate you tuning in and contacting us.
And one more time, amazing?
Amazing. Amazing. And by the way, don't be a beta.
That's right.
Don't be a beta.
Yeah, be a alpha male.
Alpha male, not a beta male. That's what we need.
Jesse, we love you here at 21. Thank you for being part of the
family, for sure. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me again.
You're welcome.
All right.